This time, we make it out of the shop and we get out and have an adventure with the wagon. The real question that's remaining is, will it do a burnout? I think we're finally ready for a road test. The sun is out. It's not freezing temperatures, not warm yet. We're in the 50s, but good weather for a road test. I even got the pretty woman over here to go along for the ride. But before we fire it up and hit the road, let me give you a recap of where we've been over the last 3 months that this has been off the road. So I'll go ahead and you can take the camera. I'll tweak this a little bit. There we go. Can you see? That'll go black in a minute because it's got a screensaver. Just the right kind of direction. So we went to the Guthrie Car Show, and that was back in on September 9th, and it's now December 3rd, and the car hasn't been out of the shop since then. We had a whole plethora of issues we needed to address after that first outing with the car. So this is just a quick recap, and there's videos on all of this stuff if you want to go back and check them out. I'll probably see if I can't make some links appear somewhere on the screen. Maybe. I'm not an expert at that stuff yet, but here's what we got done. We deleted the serpentine belt system. You know, I'll try and do pictures on the screen, and you can go to the video list if you want to see them. But we deleted the serpentine belt system. In place of that, we come on now, half a brain, losing it, there it is. In place of the serpentine belt system, we went to a traditional V-belt system. Much cleaner, much simpler. It won't let us down. It won't give us the complexities that we had with the serpentine belt system that also had a parallel steering pump on it that we're not using, had an AC compressor on it that we're not using, so we got rid of that. It also had the wrong water pump. It had a long snout water pump, an old version that's meant to go clockwise. A serpentine pump's got to go counterclockwise, which was definitely contributing to the fact that the engine used to run hot. We adjusted the front end ride height. This car had butchered cut springs in the front end. Got rid of those. We've got stock springs in it now. It sits a little higher than I'd like it to, but it should drive a whole lot better, and we shouldn't have any more issues with mutilating the oil pan underneath because it was just way too low for a stock front end before. And we rebuilt the top end of the motor completely. There was a whole mess of fiascos with that from stuff not being assembled correctly to the driver's side head not even being torqued down to finding nasty in the intake valley. It had a spread bore intake manifold with a square bore carb but without a transition adapter or any of that sort of stuff in there. The carb linkage and throttle pedal assembly was absolutely terrible. It had a cable set up in it. So we just got that sorted out with a new bracket assembly that needed some modification for the TV cable. We went back to a factory style gas pedal. All of that should be working well. And then we did end up changing out the heads as well to a head that's got a 64cc chamber on it instead of a 76, which is going to up our compression ratio. This motor is a stock bottom end from everything I can tell, stock pistons that have like a 13cc dish. You pair that with the 76 cc chamber on the head, and that barely made for an 8-to-1 compression ratio, which meant this motor made 0 power before. So switching to the 64 cc's heads with bigger valves, a better flowing runner. It's a 186 casting, which is a 1969, 1970 era camel hump with accessory holes, which we're not using. But that's besides the point. Either way, they're going to flow better. They're going to make more power. We've got higher compression. We've got an Edelbrock Performer RPM dual plane intake in here. It's a square bore flange, and we've got a carburetor that's meant to go on a square bore intake. So we don't have any weirdness going on there. All in all, we should have a roadworthy package. Added some new gauges so we can keep an eye on that. Did a once over on the wiring and fixed a number of bugs, but this car is going to need a proper wiring overhaul. We'll probably end up doing a complete harness on it to actually get rid of all of the yuck that's there, but the problematic stuff has been fixed. We did remove the oversized HEI from the 80s era, the big cap style, for a small cap distributor that is a Hall effect. It is not a points, but it looks like a points, so it's a much better fit in there. Found that the header was rubbing on the steering, which probably contributed to our bad handling initially, so we clearanced that a little bit. And probably a number of other things that I'm forgetting at this point that we did, that got done over the last 3 months so that we could get this car back out and drive it again and have a little bit of confidence that we can go more than 15 miles without the potential of a serious breakdown. So we're going to go out and we're going to drive the car today, and hopefully, if all goes well, we're going to go a lot more than 15 miles without major issues or running out of gas. So we're going to start by going to the gas station this time, the one that's closer to home. Anyway, give us a second. We'll move the camera and get the car fired up and get on out of here. Ready for this?
Born ready.
Yeah, okay. Well, it starts up good. The high idle, the choke is working like it should.
That's good. Let's just make it to our destination.
Oh, we'll get there.
By foot?
One way or another. Oil pressure's good. We're charging. We're in gear. And we're out of the shop. So I'll end up cropping the next few minutes while we get out of the gravel road, and then we'll pick it up once we get out on the highway. Well, we're to the exit of the neighborhood. If you watched our Guthrie video or the intro clip, this part looks kind of familiar. Here we go. Oh, she's a lot more spicy. Oh, it's getting all the way in there. Yeah, we woke it up good big. Well, those hands definitely made a big difference. Little squeeze on the gas pedal, we just spun the tire. I think we can definitely do burnouts now. But the steering feels a lot better. It feels a lot more like a normal Probably one of those ones that's got like a race timer or something built into it. We're just using it for the speedometer. Man, definitely need more brakes. It wants, even with pressure on the brake, just in idling, it wants to push through. Skipping the gas station this time because I don't know how much gas is in it and the gas gauge doesn't work. Sticking a little bit, so I'll take a look at that while we're here getting some gas. See if we can't identify if there's something going on there. A little more. There we go. Alright, gas time. Okay, so we're all set now. Just adjusted. Well, we put right about 10 gallons of fuel in it, which means we still had 6 gallons, so we probably would have been good for today's drive, but that's besides the point. Adjusted the way the throttle return spring was hooked. It was, I'm pretty sure it was catching on the choke lever on the carburetor, pulling the choke flap closed as it was trying to return to idle, so I moved it to a position that's just slightly lower. That should clear that, so we should be ready to go.
You sure about this?
Should be.
Should be.
Should be. Should be. Oh, the ignition. Yeah, it helps a little bit if you actually make sure all the ignition stuff's on. It's okay. It's the first time the car's been out in 3 months. Only the second time we've actually ever taken it out. Back to idle the right way. So, question is, where are we headed? Still doesn't seem like it's coming back down on the idle right. I might need to put more return spring in it and pull a little harder. That way.
That way?
That way.
Okay.
Or you want to go that way?
I don't care.
We'll go into downtown. Definitely needs more return spring, because right now my foot's not on it at all. I mean, it's cracked open. So I need to tighten up the return spring on it, so when I burp it and it puts spring pressure on it, it pulls the springs tight and they slap it back closed. But when you just give it just a little bit, it's not enough brake pressure to pull it back. But I can tow up the pedal though.
It's being very nice. It's making sure that you're
Oh, it's cruise control.
It's cruise control.
At 20 miles an hour?
Exactly, yes. 20, 25.
Oh.
25 miles an hour.
Well, let's go. Not bad. There. Now it's on cruise control.
47.
Gas pump being weird. It's working. It's got to be the return spring not being enough. I keep having to tow up the pedal. Weird is I found this same kind of problem on the red car. I was finding the problem with the gas pedal being real sticky.
Yeah.
Remember? But that was a Holly carburetor. What the hell was that? That's not even on camera.
No,
That's
it's not.
terrible. Oh,
Our windshield wipers are going off.
what is going on? There's not even a fuse in that circuit.
And
How is the windshield wipers doing anything? What?
it's like when you stepped on the brake, they moved.
That was freaking weird. That was the weirdest thing. Man, you should be filming with this thing right now. 'Cause something else crazy is bound to happen.
No, we're not gonna film with that.
Okay. Oh, geez. Yeah, gas pedal is getting worse. It's getting much stickier. Why is the gas pedal getting sticky? That's right. I know of a spot up here. We can pull off. We can take a look at it and see if we can figure out why the gas pedal is getting sticky. It's stuck right now. It's not going nowhere. Tow it back up. We're coasting again. Oh, there's a fire engine coming behind us.
I want to look in the mirror.
Yeah. The one you don't have?
The one I don't have.
I got one. So, we're about to pull off here in a park. Gas pedal is progressively getting worse as far as sticking. And I don't quite understand why. This isn't the first car I've had this problem with. Or not the first Chevy II. The last one, it was heat related. The carburetor was getting too hot and it was causing the butterflies to bind. So what I did to fix that car and fix that problem was I put a phenolic spacer in that raised the carburetor up a ½ inch and allowed for it to not get so hot, and it solved that problem. But well, adjust this more here in a second because we're about to be where I'm going to stop. We're going to take a look at it, and we'll figure it out from there. We'll go ahead and we'll park right here where it's gated off. I don't think we'll be blocking nobody. So, give us a second. We'll switch back over to the stuff we can move around. Yeah, that's not right. Not right. Okay, so I've got the air cleaner off. We just pulled off, and like I said, we're having an issue with the gas pedal sticking that is getting progressively worse. And here's what I'm talking about. I've got spring tension. It's not super tight, so those could be adjusted a little bit tighter. But check this out. Push it. So that right there, as you can see, the springs are under tension, and it's still not enough to close it, and that's actually not wanting to close on its own. And that's without the car even running. The carburetor is now binding up. So we're going to have to figure out how to address this in a way that will allow us to drive the car safely, because obviously a sticking gas pedal is not what you want. It can result in really bad things. So it would also appear that I didn't quite get the water neck sealed all the way. Once again, it's leaking out of the same spot, so I'm going to count that up to this water neck's probably just no good. It did have a good bit of corrosion on it, so we'll have to get a new water neck for it, but that's pretty minimal. This is our real issue right here. Yeah, I mean, that's just not good. Not good. The real question that's remaining is, will it do a burnout? All right, it still runs. Go figure, the gas pedal's stuck.
What'd you do?
Well, let's just say the gas pedal's stuck again. We kind of had to react a little bit on her. Let's get her home before we really get stuck. But it did a burnout.
It did. It did.
Yeah. Gas pedal really bad. We're gonna lip it home. Probably end the video here. Actually, you know what? We'll do a wrap up when we get home so that everybody knows that we made it home safely. I don't think there's any real reason to make you go along for what's probably going to be a real slow, putsy ride back to the house now that we've officially confirmed that we have a gas pedal issue. So, we'll see you on the other end.
We made it.
We made it back. We're back in the shop. The car is here. We didn't wreck it. It was a slow drive home with not a whole lot of gas pedal action. Because, well, let's just say it doesn't want to work. Here, you can take that for a second. Okay. Let's show everybody how bad this actually is behaving right now. Stay. Ready? Nice and close. There it is. It is stuck it wide open. So that's not what you want. It doesn't work well. Where did I put it? Hold on, coming right back. Wait, there's nobody over there?
And you're looking down still. Where's the
I
camera
can't
looking?
see you.
Just touch the screen. Then the picture will come back up.
There we are.
Yeah. So, remember what I was saying? And if you watched one of the last videos where I was figuring out the carburetor linkage, I wanted to run this 1/2-inch spacer. This is a phenolic spacer, and this problem with the throttle, it's not the first time I've had this problem. I actually had it on the red car, and it took me a long time to figure out why the throttle would stick, but it would only do it once the engine got hot, and it would get sticky, which on that car was a real problem to drive because it was a 4-speed car. So trying to drive a stick shift with the gas pedal, that doesn't work worth a darn. It's not safe. This being an automatic, we were able to basically limp it back home without using the gas pedal, just going really slow. So that's fine. But the solution that I found with the 4-door car was to keep more heat out of the carburetor, and putting a 1/2-inch phenolic spacer in was a complete solution that solved that. This car, it's going to be a little bit more complicated to get this put in there because I'm certain that it's the same problem. The carburetor's getting too hot. For whatever reason, it's a problem that I've now had in 2 of these cars. I don't know if other people have had it. If you've had a Chevy II, have you had a problem with your throttle getting stuck? If you have, let me know in the comments what your solution was for fixing it. If there's another alternative solution to running a spacer that can help fix this problem. But so yeah, what we're gonna have to try and do, at least unless I can find a better solution, is figure out how to get a 1/2-inch throttle spacer in here and still be able to keep all the throttle linkage happy and working so it doesn't interfere. The biggest issue being right back here. It might require another modification to the TV bracket, or the bracket for the TV cable and return spring. We might have to come up with a different throttle rod that's got a 90-degree up or something on it that can reach over it if we bring it up a 1/2-inch. Whatever the case, we've got some more problem solving to do in there because a sticky throttle pedal is not good. And once the engine cools off, that goes away completely. It goes back and forth nice and happy. So, yeah. Otherwise, at least we got the car out. We didn't die.
We made it.
And we know it will do a burnout, which is just absolutely terrifying when the gas pedal sticks. And you kind of panic a little bit and stall the motor and make sure it doesn't run into anything.
Well, it is what it is.
You weren't along for the ride. All right, we'll see you guys on the next one.